Theodore John Kaczynski, born in Chicago, 1942, a child of intellect, already showing signs of brilliance. He excelled in school, a mind leaps and bounds ahead of his peers. He skipped grades, a testament to his burgeoning genius. At 16, Harvard beckoned, its hallowed halls welcomed him. Math and philosophy became his obsessions. He delved deep, seeking knowledge and understanding. But even genius can be a breeding ground for darkness. The seeds of his disillusionment were sown. He grappled with social interactions, finding solace in solitude. His intellect became a double-edged sword. It sharpened his mind, but also isolated him. The world outside, with its complexities and contradictions, seemed to frustrate him. After Harvard, Kaczynski pursued a doctorate at the University of Michigan. His brilliance continued to shine. He earned his PhD in mathematics. A promising future seemed to lie ahead. He secured a teaching position at the University of California, Berkeley. But the academic world, once a sanctuary, now felt stifling. He resigned abruptly after just 2 years. The pull of solitude grew stronger. He sought refuge in the wilderness of Montana. He built a small cabin, a Spartan existence, far from the crowds and noise of civilization. He wanted to disconnect, to escape the technological advancements he saw as a threat. He sought a simpler life, one closer to nature. But his retreat was not a peaceful one. It was fueled by a growing anger, a simmering rage against the modern world. The tranquility of the Montana wilderness was shattered, the silence broken by the deafening roar of an explosion. It was 1978, the target, Northwestern University. The first bomb attributed to the Unabomber. The device was crude, cobbled together from scrap materials. But it was effective. It injured a security guard. It announced the arrival of a new kind of terror. Over the next few years, the bombings continued. Universities and airlines became his targets. His bombs grew more sophisticated, more deadly. Each explosion sent shockwaves through the nation. Who was this shadowy figure, this phantom bomber? What drove him to such acts of violence? The questions lingered unanswered. The fear grew with each passing attack. The Unabomber. The name itself struck fear into the hearts of Americans. A phantom terrorist operating in the shadows. His motives a mystery. His targets were carefully chosen. Professors, scientists, executives, people he saw as symbols of the technological society he despised. His bombs, delivered in plain sight, sent through the mail. The nation watched in horror. The body count rose, 3 lives claimed, countless others forever scarred. The Unabomber became a symbol of fear, a chilling reminder of the vulnerability of modern life. The FBI launched a massive manhunt. Task forces assembled, resources poured into the investigation, but the Unabomber remained elusive, a ghost in the machine. Section 5. Hunting a ghost. The FBI's desperate pursuit. The FBI faced an unprecedented challenge. A ghost in the machine. A phantom bomber with no clear motive, no communication, no pattern. The pressure mounted with each attack. The public demanded answers. Years turned into decades. The investigation became the longest and most expensive in FBI history. Agents chased down countless leads, interviewed thousands of potential suspects. But the Unabomber remained a step ahead. They had a few clues, fragments of the bombs, eyewitness accounts, a sketch of a man in a hooded sweatshirt, but it wasn't enough. The case grew cold, then a breakthrough. The Unabomber sent a letter, a rambling 35,000-word manifesto, a glimpse into the mind of a madman. His demands publication in major newspapers, his threat more bombs. Section 6. A manifesto from the shadows, unraveling the Unabomber's twisted logic, industrial society and its future. The title itself was a declaration, a manifesto from the shadows that Unabomber's warped worldview laid bare for all to see. His words, a chilling mix of intelligence and insanity. He railed against technology, against the destruction of individual liberty. He saw himself as a warrior, fighting a losing battle against the inevitable march of progress. The manifesto was published, a calculated risk by the FBI, a desperate hope that someone would recognize the writing, the ideas. The gamble paid off. Thousands of miles away, a man read the manifesto. The words resonated with him. They were eerily familiar. He knew the author. He knew the monster behind the words. He was the Unabomber's brother. Section 7, the walls close in, a brother's recognition, a nation's sigh of relief, David Kaczynski, haunted by the manifesto, haunted by the growing suspicion that his own brother Ted was the Unabomber, torn between family loyalty and civic duty. He contacted the FBI, his information was credible, detailed. It matched the profile they had painstakingly constructed. The pieces of the puzzle finally fell into place. The FBI descended upon the remote cabin in Montana. There, amidst the trees and silence, they found him. Theodore Kaczynski, the Unabomber. After 17 years of terror, the nightmare was over. The nation breathed a collective sigh of relief. Justice at last. But the capture brought little closure. The questions lingered. Why? How? Could it have been prevented? Section 8. Inside the mind of a bomber trial, conviction, and a life behind bars, the trial of Theodore Kaczynski captivated the nation. It was a spectacle that drew in viewers from all walks of life, glued to their screens, eager to see the outcome of this high-profile case, a glimpse into the mind of a madman. The psychological evaluations revealed a complex and disturbed individual whose actions were as perplexing as they were horrifying. His lawyers argued mental illness. They claimed that Kaczynski's years of isolation had driven him to the brink of insanity. They painted a picture of a troubled genius, driven to madness by his isolation and paranoia. His secluded life in a remote cabin was highlighted as a key factor in his descent into violence. The prosecution presented a different narrative, a cold, calculating terrorist. They argued that Kaczynski was fully aware of his actions and their consequences, a man who chose violence, who meticulously planned his attacks. The evidence showed a methodical approach to his bomb-making, leaving no room for doubt about his intentions. A man who showed no remorse for his actions. His stoic demeanor in court only reinforced the image of a remorseless killer. The jury reached a verdict, guilty. The decision was unanimous, reflecting the gravity of his crimes. Kaczynski was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. The sentence ensured that he would never be free to harm anyone again. He was sent to ADX Florence, a supermax prison in Colorado. Known for its stringent security measures, it was the perfect place to contain someone of his danger level, a place designed to hold the most dangerous criminals. The facility is notorious for its harsh conditions and strict regulations. From the confines of his cell, Kaczynski continued to write. His writings provided a window into his twisted mind, offering insights into his motivations and beliefs. Letters, essays, even another book. His prolific output from behind bars kept his story alive in the public consciousness. He remained a subject of fascination and debate. Scholars, psychologists, and true crime enthusiasts continued to analyze his life and crimes, a symbol of the dark side of brilliance, a cautionary tale of unchecked anger and alienation. His story serves as a grim reminder of what can happen when genius turns to madness. Section 9. The Unabomber's shadow echoes of a terrorist in a digital age. The Unabomber's reign of terror may be over, but the impact of his actions continues to ripple through time. But his legacy lives on, not just in history books, but in the minds of those who study his life and actions. His name, a chilling reminder of the vulnerability of modern society, still evokes fear and curiosity. His actions, a stark warning about the dangers of unchecked extremism, serve as a case study for law enforcement and psychologists alike. In the digital age, his ideas find new life online, spreading through forums and social media. Echoes of his anti-technology rhetoric can be heard in the dark corners of the internet, influencing a new generation of extremists. His manifesto, once a chilling anomaly, now finds a home in online forums and extremist websites, where it continues to inspire debate and concern. His case continues to fascinate and disturb, prompting discussions in academic circles and among law enforcement professionals. It raises questions about the nature of terrorism, the role of mental illness, and the challenges of balancing security and freedom in a democratic society, issues that remain relevant today. His story serves as a reminder that even in an age of interconnectedness, the human capacity for darkness and violence remains a chilling reality, one that we must continually strive to understand and mitigate. Section 10. The enduring question: can we truly understand the depths of such darkness? This question has haunted us for decades as we try to make sense of the incomprehensible. Theodore Kaczynski, the Unabomber, a name forever etched in the annals of American crime. His actions left an indelible mark on our collective consciousness, his story a cautionary tale, a reminder of the fragility of peace, the ever-present potential for darkness to erupt. One moment, tranquility, the next, chaos. We may never fully understand the depths of his rage, the twisted logic that fueled his terror. What drives a person to such extremes? What festers in the shadows of the human mind? But his case forces us to confront uncomfortable truths about ourselves, about the society we have created. It makes us question our values, our priorities, and our sense of security. It challenges us to examine the consequences of unchecked technological advancement, the growing chasm between progress and humanity. Are we losing touch with what it means to be human? It compels us to seek understanding, to bridge the divides that can lead to isolation and despair. We must strive to connect, to empathize, to heal. The Unabomber's legacy is a dark one, a shadow that looms over us, reminding us of the potential for evil within. But it is also a call to action, a call to address the root causes of such violence, to foster a society where everyone feels valued and heard. A call for empathy, for dialogue, for a commitment to creating a world where such acts of terror are unthinkable, where compassion and understanding prevail. A world where the seeds of hatred and violence find no fertile ground to grow. A world where hope and unity flourish and darkness is dispelled by the light of human kindness.